Now we're gonna add more trees. But as you can see, it's going to be a little bit tricky because how we're gonna place those trees, since we'll have to create, we will create like an array of trees like in grass, but their position is kind of like random, and we don't want to spawn on top of each other if we're gonna do completely random. So I think we should actually select where it's gonna be spawning, but that'll be pretty time consuming if you're going to do it manually, since we will have to get like position and walk around and copy the values and then create like a lot of those trees like this, and that will be just like, then we would just enter those positions manually here, which I don't really like, but I was planning on doing that way. But that's not really correct way, because we're gonna have like 33, so we will end up like creating like that many trees, or probably more than that. And we can't do a for loop for this because those positions will be random, like 256 by 300 and 1500 by 300 as well. I don't know, it could be anything. So I think we shouldn't create an array of them. We should create a vector of them, like a dynamic array that we can actually change the values. So then we can place them with a key. For example, we'll create like a level editor for this, and when you press space, the tree will be placed when you're in the level editor, and we'll save it to a file, the position of the tree. Then we can create like different levels really quickly without much hassle than doing that way. Because if we do it that way, eventually we'll have to do another level like a desert or something, and that will take a really long time to do it each time for a new level. So I think creating like really simple level editor for this will be really good, which can be like in-game level editor. We just press F2 and then you can edit stuff, place and destroy maybe. So actually let's do this. Let's do this level editor. Well, let's just place the trees without saving them for now. The way we're gonna do it is we're gonna use something new. It's called a vector. Vectors are like dynamic arrays. So we can do SD vector. Let me just delete this. std vector. So we have what we're gonna do is 3 pointer, and now we have like a vector of trees, and we can just name it trees actually. So cassette vectors are like dynamic array. So let's just comment this out for now, and to add to this array you're going to do trees.push back, open the bracket, then type in new, and then what would you use normally, which is pretty much this. You just add new tree to this. So now if you want to access this tree, you're going to do trees 0. You can't do this because this is going to fail because we have only one tree. You will be able to do this if you're going to do pushback twice. Then you will be able to access this tree. Okay. But looping through those trees is going to be a little bit more tricky. To loop through them, you should use iterators, which is you're going to create a for loop, std vector 3. Oh, pointer on the wrong side. 3. And then you're going to do iterator. Then let's name it I equals 3s dot begin. Is that function? I can't remember. I think it is. Then comma, not comma, semicolon. Then I is not equals to 3s dot end. So it's equal to when it starts, and if it's not equal to end, so when it is equal to end, we end it. And then we're going to do plus plus I. And that will loop through all the trees. Now to access it, all you're going to do is pointer I, and then we can access those trees. Actually, no, we can't. There you go, now we can. You actually have to put brackets around it. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're actually gonna draw. And we're going to draw trunk. Now we can copy this. And we just draw crown. So this is like a dynamic array, so we can add to it and it will just draw it. We don't have to change anything in here if we push back new one inside here. So, okay, so we have those two. And we have to delete it obviously since we're using new keyword. You can delete vector by just calling, we can clear it actually. So if you push back like 20 of them, you can just do 3s that clear. It will clear the array, but the memory will be still of those 3s inside your RAM. So this will cause you a memory leak. So technically you could clear it here, but first you need to clearing it actually won't even change anything. At least I don't think so, but let's just clear it just in case, and then before we clear it, we're actually gonna to remove all the memory, so we're gonna delete each one of them. If that makes sense. First we're gonna delete all of them, all the memory, remove from the RAM, and then we're gonna clear the array, so it's going to be empty. Alright, so the memory should be cleared in here. And I believe that's it for vectors. So we still have the 3, but now if you want new one, we don't have to change the, for example, if you add a new class, we'll have to change those values here, but inside with vectors you won't have to, because if you just push 1 and we do 50, it's just gonna add new one without complaining. As you can see, we can just push as many as we want. So for int I equals 0 is less than 100, I plus plus, let's just do a little demonstration and see if our computer can handle it. So we're going to add, let's do 50 multiplied by I. Okay, so we're gonna offset it by 50 each time. Okay, so you can see quite a lot of few trees. with simple vector. And we're still getting pretty decent frame rate, but as you can see, once I leave this area with the trees, our frame rate should jump up. Yes, it's jumping up, but not by that much. About 200 more frames. But if I would have all those trees in the same position, that would definitely drop our frame to much lower, since it has to draw all those. And it's getting 800, and once we leave the area with the tree so it doesn't draw it, it jumps back up. So keep in mind how many stuff you draw at once to the screen. Okay? So we have the trees. Now let's create them dynamically while we play the game, so we can just place them around, and then in the next tutorial we're gonna save it to a file. But first let's just place them around with key press. We're gonna create update function, which will be responsible for the key presses. So void c environment update. Alright, so we have the update function. Now we need the event to be able to do the controls. So let's create SDL event. We get a pointer, let's call it events. Now we need to make it equal to our main event. So what we're going to do is use SDL setup and get main event. Inside our update function, all we're going to do is we're going to create two simple if statements. If SDL events